Welcome to the NWI.com Political Roundtable for Thursday, May 1st. I'm Robert Blaskowitz, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. Joined with me today, Krista Ivanovic, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. We've been very busy, obviously, preparing for this year's primary election, which is Tuesday. Don't forget to vote. And if you haven't already, maybe you might want to go back to Sunday's paper. We had our election guide in there. And if you want further information, I recommend you go to nwi.com/politics. There you'll find the latest stories, endorsement editorials. Those are coming out every day, along with videos. We taped all our endorsement interviews this year, and we put those online so you can kind of see for yourself how the candidates presented themselves to us. So we're getting a lot of positive feedback. People are very interested. Find the videos very interesting. Krista, what are you looking for? And what are you particularly going to be keeping an eye on in the primary election?
First, probably the biggest race is the sheriff's race. Dan Bursak, and I can't even remember the name of the other Republican candidate. On the Dem side is Sheriff Bunsich, the incumbent, going for one more term. And did you find the name? We'll let you know. Richard Ligon, well-respected retired Gary police officer, and Oscar Martinez, also a very well-respected Lake County officer. And we did endorse Sheriff Bunsich as a newspaper, but the other two candidates are very strong. It would be interesting to try and catch the video of them on NWI.com. All three very good, had good ideas for what they would do were they to win. So that will be an interesting race to watch. Also, in the commissioner's race, Roosevelt Allen is getting a run for his money from challenger Lita Filippo. She has run for public office before. She's an insurance agent, and she has been trying to shake things up with the county, and on a limited budget, giving him, I think, a run for his money. His district has changed, and she sees a chance to get in there and make some changes. And what else in Lake County am I missing?
Calumet Township trustee.
Oh, Calumet Township trustee.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson came out in favor of Kimberly Robinson, who is challenging Mary Elgin, who's the current Calumet Township trustee. Mary Elgin has done a credible job. She has cut positions, tried to cut the budget. She's under the gun from the state legislature to do so. But I think that some recent things have occurred in that office. She's embroiled in a lawsuit. She sued the state for clarification on some issues, and I think Kim Robinson is coming in and challenging her. And I do believe she is affiliated with the trustee's office as well, so she knows of what she speaks as well.
Yeah, on the Porter County side, probably the most interesting race is you have a Republican race for county commissioner. The incumbent Nancy Adams is being challenged by William Lefebvre and Jeff Good. Jeff Good, I think, is in particular going to be a strong challenger for her. And Jim Biggs, an incumbent Republican on the Porter County Council, is being challenged by Kyle Yelton. So that should be an interesting race to keep an eye on, as well as in the 3rd District of the Porter County Council. Karen Conover is running against Chet Barone. So, if voters are in a mood to change things up, certainly Barone is a capable candidate. So.
And I don't know how it is in Porter County, but I know in Lake, oftentimes we focus a lot on the primary because it is so Democrat heavy that whoever wins the primary is the de facto has won the election in November.
And it's a little, I think, more, there's definitely more of a mix of Republicans and Democrats in Porter County. I should also mention that Porter County Council incumbent Jim Polaric is being challenged by Michael Jessen and Anthony Pamplona. So that's an interesting race as well. On the sheriff's side, David Reynolds, I think, looks pretty poised to be the Democratic nominee. He's got a challenger, Harold Lush, but Reynolds has so many more resources, so much more recognition in terms of being the former sheriff that he's going to probably pretty handily win that race. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to note in the state, oftentimes someone will run for sheriff, serve for 8 years, and then they can't run again. They have to take a break, and then they come back to run because they, are able to after that hiatus.
And the off-year primary is typically one of your lowest turnout elections.
Right, that's a good point. At least in Lake County, we have had a very low early voter turnout.
Right, and I don't expect it's going to be very much turnout at all. So, with a low turnout, you could see some surprising results. It doesn't take much to upset the apple cart in terms of votes. So we'll be obviously giving you right up to the moment of the election all the developing news, and then on election night, be sure to join us. We'll have live coverage on NWI.com, and then of course full coverage of the election results in Wednesday's edition of the Times. So be sure to come back for that. Also in the news this week, we've had a couple interesting front page packages the past couple days focusing on Gary. On Wednesday, we had a story looking at kind of the decline of Gary athletics and the difficulties that Gary schools are having, and these once proud programs of Roosevelt and Lew Wallace falling on hard times. Today, in Thursday's edition, we had a story about an effort to kind of revitalize the area around IUN called University Park, with a new facility that would be shared between IUN and Ivy Tech, providing performing arts spaces and other things. What
it's supposed to be a state-of-the-art building at the corner of 35th and Broadway, and they hope to capitalize on that area already because there are, I think they said 10,000 students in that area. In both schools, and they are also hoping that a feasibility study comes in, also looking at that area because of its proximity to the Borman Expressway for Level 1 Trauma Center and teaching hospital, because IUN is going to be a 4-year medical school now, which really should be a boost. And I know that when she was running, Karen Freeman Wilson said University Park area is one of the areas she wants to focus on. And I think they're hoping that building, the state has approved $45 million to build that building, and they're hoping that other retailers and other investors can be drawn there with retail, with restaurants, coffee shops, bookshops, whatever.
And they're also talking about student housing as well.
Correct.
Possibly bringing that in. So you bring people living there and buying things and going to restaurants and going to stores, and you kind of get you can definitely get a snowball effect in terms of revitalizing an entire area.
And I have high hopes for, we've been talking about this for 10 years since I was business editor here eons ago, about bringing a trauma center and teaching hospital to Gary. It was pie in the sky at one time, but now I think that state legislators are actually paying attention. I think it's actually a possibility. We've done studies have been done. We actually really need a trauma center here. People are flown to wherever, and they talk about that golden hour, that critical 50 to 60 minutes when someone's injured, and that we need it, and it might actually be a possibility, and I think that would really help enhance and complement and be a shot in the arm to that area.
When you talk about severe trauma, you're talking about usually gunshots or car accidents, and you've got, of course, the urban areas that have the problem with gunshot victims, and then the expressways right there. So it makes so much sense to have a trauma center right there. So hopefully we'll see how it goes, but hopefully we can see some progress on that front, because it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
Well, that's all the time we have this week. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week, post-election, with another political roundtable.